Note this, Maxine's Baby. The name of the film's subject is not in the main title. Not very Hollywood. Exactly. And it tells you much. I'm not going to spend this time talking about Willie Maxine Perry's baby, because you're about to see an extraordinary film about just that. But I will say this. It is no secret that this town loves the idea of a maverick, but they don't always love a maverick. A maverick that shows you what you're not. A maverick that shows you a different way. A maverick that shows you a better way. Well, at AFI, where we are committed to celebrating excellence and ensuring it in the next generation through education, we love a maverick. We celebrate them as we do tonight. And I'll just give you one example of why. It's a nucleotide of the DNA in this man. Turn back the clock to 2009. In this very theater, at this very event, we had the honor of screening the film Precious, Lee Daniels' film starring Gabby Sidibe. He was here, along with all of Hollywood. Sidney Poitier was here. Oprah Winfrey, who was also here tonight, speaking of mavericks we love. But when I welcomed him to Precious with a thank you, he said, most generously, I'm here to support you. Are there four more powerful words? Many people say it. Few live it, and this man lives it. And so tonight, we are here to support. We are here to support you, sir, guided by two extraordinary storytellers. Please welcome writer and co-director Gelila Bekele and co-director Armani Ortiz.
Wow, thank you guys. Appreciate it. It's about TV.
We want to thank everyone for being here with us. This moment means more than words. To premiere our film, Maxine's Baby, A Talent Story, at the American Film Institute, about someone who's contributed so much to the American cinema and reached so many globally. The festival's tagline for AFI is "Film is for everyone." And for me, growing up in Ethiopia, American films in particular reached me and made me feel like it's for me. And we hope that this film makes you feel like this is for you, that you are seen, that you are inspired, regardless of your circumstances. I think about young people in my country, young people in New Orleans, in New York, all over the world who feel like their circumstances doesn't allow them to dream. And we hope that they're inspired and are able to see themselves. Because this man, for me, I see sort of like a superhero. Not because he can slay a dragon, or he can change a light bulb without a ladder, because he's 6'6". But because he wakes up every morning loving the world and respecting the world and those around him every single day. And for me, that's what it takes to be a hero. And I hope we're able to see this, the process of hard work, what it means to be a mogul. We see, we use that word so loosely often, and we don't get to see someone like Tyler who's a true so much. We don't get to see the process, the hard work, the respect he has for hard work, and not just about the end result. And he has a quote that he constantly says, "Your dreams are tied to other people's dreams." And we've had a front row and witnessing what that means in process when we've documented for 10 years.
10 years, everybody. 10 years.
So we hope that you see yourselves and this film speaks to you. Amen.
And we also want to just thank everyone that was here, that participated in the film as well. Being here in the Chinese theater is a dream come true, especially me being from the Bronx. I remember watching anyone from the Bronx, New York. Those are the people from the Bronx that share enough opinion. Just wanted to thank you guys, honestly, and big shout out and thank you to Tyler Perry, a father figure of mine now. What he has done and what he has sacrificed throughout the years and what he's building in Atlanta is giving so many opportunities to so many people that may have never, ever gotten an opportunity. And thank you guys. We are living proof of TP's legacy as well. So thank you, TP, wherever you are. Also, we want to thank, obviously, Amazon and GM. You guys have been fantastic partners. Thank you, Prime. Thank you guys, AF5, for allowing us to do a premiere here. It's incredible with all these people. Thank you for everyone that lent their voice to tell this story, because without you, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So thank you guys so much. And we want to kind of shout out the people that helped us make this film as well. So if we say your name, can you please stand and we can give a little round of applause to them if possible?
We can't see you. Hopefully the crowd can see you. And filmmaking is the ultimate team sport. And hopefully we're in the room.
Yeah, so Gita, I don't know if you're here, but just stand, give a round of applause. Our editors, Eric Sasso and John Bertain. And we're missing
So Kristen Hamilton is also another producer.
Kristen. And we're missing two people, but they don't really. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think it's Jasmine White, producer. Sante White, my brother.
Thank you everyone for believing in our vision and working tirelessly really to make the story come true. So thank you.
I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Well, it took us 10 years. I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you TP again for not breaking the camera all those years. Appreciate that.
I'm Jackson, senior entertainment writer at Variety, and I'm so honored to be moderating this conversation. And really, without further ado, let's get these co-directors out here to tell us a little bit about how they made this film over nearly a decade. So we have our co-directors Gelila Bekele and Armani Ortiz. I will say, we have appreciated the energy in the building all screening long. What was it like for you all to watch this film for the first time with an audience, with family, friends, so many folks in this building?
Yeah, incredible. I wish I could see all you guys right now, but it's just obviously sitting with my parents and my family, knowing everyone that just took time out to look at to see this. It really means the world to us. So thank you.
All right, I do have to ask you about showing it to Tyler for the first time. What was it like? Because this was the film that you all made. You started documenting and then figured out what the documentary was going to be. But he wasn't in the editing room with y'all. You had full control over this. So what was it like to play it for the first time? Where did it happen? Tell me more about it.
We saw it right before we went to distribution. And it's nerve-wracking. How do you paint a painter? director film we made about him. And we were hiding in the back of the theater in the room. And when it was over, we were like ready to pass out just from anxiety, you know? And he cried. And we were like, okay, we are okay.
Yeah, so we sent it to Amazon. So, no, it was great. He said it was beautiful, and obviously, thankfully, I'm blessed enough to still have my mother here, so I can only imagine how long it's been since he heard his mother's voice. So, you know, we wanted to really be a steward to his story, more importantly, treat it with some kid gloves because obviously it's sensitive.
Let's talk about that. Having that footage, so much of that footage of Maxine, where in the process did that come together, and how did you figure out how you would weave it into the story?
We stumbled upon that beautiful footage in the edit process. We've been filming for almost 10 years, all Verte, for 500 terabyte footage of just Verte, without including archives. And you know, that was very important for us to, I think, the Verte shotgun style, one camera, following him, sort of makes you feel like you're right there close. And also like, we got a little bit more comfortable with the fact that it's not a crew following him around. And that sort of was the need for us. And we wanted to leave with Verte. And then finding this magical tape that we needed to convert to digital. And I don't think he even knew we took it. And to hear her voice, which is like, melts like honey, I could hear her speak forever. And also like their story connecting, him telling the story about the jaguar, and her telling the story from her perspective. I mean, my experience in my past film, I haven't been lucky to have that kind of past-present connection. And it was unreal, really.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, Maxine is TP's soul, you know, so when we found that footage, which well, that's another story for another day. But,
We are all here.
we had to ask for forgiveness and instead of permission to find that. So, you know, we still love it. But when we found that, we found the dedication, like, okay, that's the soul of the film, we got it, you know.
Well, in that, you know, you have all of these moments, you know, this is a career that has spanned, you know, more than 2 decades, you have all of these clips, you have all of these interviews. How did you find a way to narrow it down? When did you recognize what the story of this documentary was going to be?
You know, documentaries, you're in the mercy of what's happening. You're not in control until the edit room. Even then, you have to night and day try to figure out these puzzles that don't make any sense, and oftentimes doesn't even look like it could be one film. But again, I think the blessing we had in this case is time to sort of really work through everything. And his story deserved the grace of time. You know, I think oftentimes we see documentaries or biopics about celebrities and prominent figures. It's oftentimes put together from an archive or stuff that sort of rushed and put together. But the verite is what makes you feel closer, to see their practice, who they are daily. The small, quiet moments are important. And that's sort of where it laid us to the heart, which became Maxine.
And also shout out to her and Sasso, our incredible editor, and John Bertain, masterful editor, and also those magic editors. I'm still tired of arguing with you about things, but you know, it's fine. We did it.
Well, since we were talking about the editing room, what is one moment that you inevitably had to leave on the cutting room floor that you're still a little salty about?
Armani crying like a girl.
That's fair. Honestly, there's a lot that was left on the cutting room floor. The first cut was like 5 hours, I believe. And so we had to we didn't want you guys to sit here for 5 hours. So, one thing that I wanted to put in that we just couldn't is that TP's a prankster. So he would always like come into my office because we have like adjacent offices and just prank the hell out of my office. And obviously I can never prank him back because he's TP. So that's one thing that I wanted to put in there, but I couldn't.
Yeah, that is one way to win the prank war, for sure. Armani, I want to ask you about that opening shot. So I was on the other side of that red carpet, waiting. We're here at this incredible gala. This is truly a historic moment that we're seeing, this 330-acre studio, and now owned by a Black man. And when you're sitting there watching, seeing all of these luminaries coming down the carpet and knowing that he's coming, I never imagined that that was what was happening backstage. That it was this moment of grounding and needing to kind of work through and open up about that coping mechanism that the trauma has created. Tell me a little bit about those moments where you're trying to get TP to open up.
It's always difficult to try to get TP to open up just because obviously he's TP and he's always in control. But that whole event, the grand opening, was probably the hardest thing out of the 10 years, just for the simple fact that it was so massive, it was so grand, and kind of like everyone felt the weight of history for that one event, that one moment. So when I was filming him in that hallway, I was like, oh, this is the moment, and they got very dark. So, how do you feel, sir? He's like, yo, come on, don't do this again. But thankfully, over the past, at that point it was 8 years, we had like a give and go flow. So he was like, all right, you know what, I've yelled at you enough, I might as well just throw your bum. So glad we got it.
What was that process like for both of you? Because as you mentioned, of course, a lot of this is verite. You're catching those moments that are very informative. But it's also diving into and digging into and maybe even sometimes, having multiple conversations about these very tough moments. The things that are revealed in this story, and some people probably know pieces and parts of the childhood, tell me a little bit about pulling those stories out and how you wanted to make sure you portrayed them.
I think in any sort of human conversation, vulnerability really depends on the landing pad. I think when people feel comfortable and safe, they're able to open up. And I've sort of learned that from my past films where, I'm filming in rural parts of Ethiopia where most people have never seen a camera before and they think it's a weapon. So how do you warm up? How do you give them this equipment, let them play with it, spend time with them, trust is earned? And the same formula, although I've had a front row seat for many years and the privilege of observing this man, still having a camera in front of him, you have to feel comfortable. So that meant we have to be patient. We have to allow him to sort of open up at his own terms. There are days we would film for 16 hours and there's nothing. And there are days for 5 minutes and he's like, let me tell you how I feel. So you sort of have to be gentle. Grace is important in anything we do. And also, we didn't want to take it lightly that speaking about trauma for anyone, you're sort of reliving the story, and it's not easy. So how do you sort of make sure the person is okay? Because often smell can be a trigger, or word can be trigger, and you have to handle it with kid gloves, like our mom said.
When it comes to, of course, as you said, having such a front row seat to observing this man, how do you find that, balance between, you feel like you know a lot, but you're still discovering new things through this process? What was something that each of you discovered that you were not prepared for?
Well, I wouldn't say I wasn't prepared for what I've learned. I think the beauty about filmmaking is you kind of like learn more about yourself than you do the subject. So little by little, you start reflecting about like, okay, what about my traumas? What about this? What about my dreams? What about You know, who am I bringing up with me? Who am I trying to help, you know, with my dream, with the gift that God has given me? So, you know, for me, TP's always taught me that none of this is about you. Like, the gift that you have is so that you can make other people's dreams come true. So, you know, it's just one of those beautiful things that, you know, will stay with me forever.
And also, you have to take yourself out of it. You know, no matter how much you feel like you know someone or you know about something, you have to take your knowledge out of it because you are making this for an audience. Most likely, some might not know anything about this. So, for us, it was very important to leave space for polarity and, you know, invite his critics to have a voice and have a conversation, and also have a deeper dive into his fans and his fan base, why his work resonates with them so much at the core level. And again, we have to take our own beliefs out of it, what we know out of it, our relationship with him outside of it, and really have a level space.
The film really does a good job about contextualizing, you know, the rise, the career, the impact, the criticism. Especially in that segment, as you know, present all of the varied takes and sides on TP's work. What do you hope that audiences take away from that debate? What do you hope that they maybe start to take into consideration, good, bad, or otherwise?
Art is so personal and emotional, how we connect with what resonates with us. So it's important to debate. I don't believe in personal attacks, but I think it's important for me as an artist to debate my work. That's how I grow. I need to also hear the opposing side as well as the pro side. And I also think about people who are gonna be able to watch this film, and I think the brilliant thing about the streaming world right now, and we're so grateful to have Amazon, MGM, and Prime Videos be our partner and believe in this film, is that it's gonna reach a wider audience than we could ever imagine. I know, you know, I've said it in my sort of opening speech, growing up in Ethiopia, cinema and film is sort of like entertainment, how you see yourself, and you're allowed to sort of dream beyond what you can see. And film is important, art is important, and how we relate to it is so personal. It's okay to disagree. I don't know, I like the space of polarity because that's how we learn from each other. Also, I don't believe in personally attacking each other because we don't agree with something, but to debate should be available.
I know you mentioned, you know, this was, as we said, almost a 10-year journey. I don't know if you'll remember this, but do you remember the first day that you picked up the camera to begin what this journey might be?
I remember my first time. My very first time, I was in New York at the Beacon Theater with him, and there's a little clip of it where a mom's like a little baby, and I got threatened that day by Gelila. But for that to be the first thing I shot, which was him and his son, who was what, 6, 7 months at the time, you know, it kind of gave me the gravity of accountability and responsibility to be like, okay, this is this man's life, and he's putting me in here, and obviously Gelila trusts me as well, so I have to make sure that, you know, I take this very seriously. And since that day, I feel like obviously, you know, I'm here, I have it. So.
Oh, I think that the first time for me, you know, the beginning wasn't for a purpose of making a film. You know, again, I had a front row seat at this person becoming busier than ever. He just acquired Fort McPherson and the design, the blueprint to turn it into a major motion picture studio. And he was about to be a father. I think I was about maybe 5 months pregnant. He was on tour. He was directing the shows, writing the film. And how do you explain to someone how hard this man works? And I do know that, especially at this moment, there's this glorified conversation and the end result, but we never talk about the process and what it took to get there. And a lot of people don't get to see that process, which is so important because a lot of people want to sort of have a shortcut and success, and anything that's going to last long requires a commitment that is unmatched. And that's how it started, and then later on, Armani joined us. We met through our friend Lyle, who's here tonight.
Shout out to Lyle.
I know. We met, and I was like, right away, I knew he was the guy. He's so brilliant. I saw a short film he made, and you can tell when someone's really talented. And we clicked, and how often do I come across someone who sort of believes in my blind vision and uprooted and gave his life, 10 years of his life to this film.
I got to witness a bit of that beautiful connection that you two have backstage. I mean, that is a big part of making the film together. You have also become a family. There's a mind meld, I'm sure, there as well. But I do want to ask about Aman, because we do get a chance to see that beautiful personal life, a lot of the stuff that isn't out there in the media and not on the big screen. But as it relates to this film, I know Tyler and Pastor Hughes has talked a lot about how parenting has helped him heal his younger self. What have you witnessed, and especially now as you see and think of Aman watching this one day? Where does the healing continue through a film like this?
Wow, that's such a full question. Fatherhood is such an important part of this film. You see 3 different generations of 2 men and 1 kid. And Aman has a father that's very loving and fully present and healthy relationship. That's his hero, because one, Papa's big and strong, and Papa's kind, and for a little kid, usually, or especially little boys, their father is their hero. And I think about when he's old enough to see this film and understand sort of what his father has gone through. And for me, love is important. And to watch Tyler embody this feeling and give it, and to really learn while we're filming him in that moment with Emmett, to witness and see that where did he learn this love? Of course, it's Maxine, right? And no matter who you are, how successful you are, how much you have or how little you have, love is sort of the ground. And hopefully Aman understands Papa is not just a hero because of his stature, but his heart.
Well, Gelila and Armani, thank you so much. We are so grateful to have witnessed this premiere with you. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Remember, November 17th, Prime Video.
November 17th, Amazon MGM, thank you guys. Asante and Jasmine White, we love you, we love you, we love you. TP, we love you. Everybody from the next, I love you guys. Mama, Bobby, I love you. Thank you. And thank you, Angelique. Appreciate you.